In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we find counties and markets to mail to in our land flipping business and how you can do the same thing. Now, for the most part, when people join the land flipping industry, the biggest bottleneck they have in their business is picking good counties or good markets to mail to. And we get hung up on it and we get stuck in what we call this paralysis by analysis mode, where we don't know the perfect county or the perfect market or the perfect pricing, so we do nothing. Right, well, I'm going to walk you through exactly what we do in our business and you can follow along in your business. Now, in our business, all we're looking for when we're looking for a good county is good enough. I want a county that's good enough. I don't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. What we do need is consistency in our marketing. So we look for counties that are good enough, the demand is good enough, and as long as we're marketing consistently, you'll have a successful land business. Now, when we're looking for these counties, what we're typically using as our number one metric is sell-through rate. Now, sell-through rate is just going to determine the demand of that county or the demand of that market. And we do that by looking at the number of listings that have sold over a certain time period compared to what's currently listed on the market. So let me break that down. If we're going to look at a sell-through rate over the last year, and let's say there's 100 lots that have sold over the last year, and there's 100 lots that are currently on the market, that's a 100% sell-through rate. If there's 80 lots have sold in the last year and 100 lots on the market, it's an 80% sell-through rate. Now you can look at a sell-through rate on a 1-year basis, 6 month, 3 month, 2 year, right? So if over the last 6 months, let's say 40 lots have sold and there's 50 on the market, it's an 80% sell-through rate over the last 6 months. So in our business, we need a minimum of a 60% sell-through rate over the last year. Now, everybody's gonna have a different metric for what they think works best in their business. Sometimes it's 100%. In ours, anything more than 60% over the last year sell-through rate is good enough. Now, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna show you exactly how we choose our markets. We use a site called Land Insights. Now, it's gonna break down and compare sell-through rates amongst different counties and different states. They'll do it all for you. You don't have to have a software like this. If you wanna manually do it, you can do that as well. You can go to ChatGPT and ask it, hey, give me the best counties in whatever state, and then manually figure out how many have sold in the last year, how many are active, how many are sold in the last 6 months, how many are active, and then determine the sell-through rate from there. There's definitely a way to manually do it. We use Land Insights because it does it for us. So if we head on over to the market research, we'll go to Analyze Markets. And in this example, let's go to 10 to 20 acres. And let's go sold in the last year. Now, if I sort my sell-through rate high to low, now this number at the top can be a little bit misleading. You'll see because there's only 1 lot that's active and 11 have sold. So 1100% sell-through rate can be a little misleading when there's not enough data. So what I want to determine, before I choose my county, I want to make sure there's enough data for me to have a really good idea. So let's go to sold in the last year. I want a minimum of 30 lots. So now we can sort sell-through rate high to low, but we need a minimum of 30 lots sold in the last year. So now I know that sell-through rate percentage is probably a pretty accurate percentage. Now let's go down the list. Up top we have Davidson County, North Carolina, Yadkin County, Marinette County, Aroostook County, Allegan County. Now here's the problem with picking the highest or the hottest markets across the county. If everybody else is doing that, how are we supposed to get deals, right? How are we supposed to compete if every land investor, every realtor, every fix and flipper, every wholesaler, every private equity company, if they're all going after the hottest markets or the hottest counties across the country, it's much more difficult to get deals. Now, it's not to say we can't get deals, but it's harder to. So in our business, where we like to live and where we do most of our deals, is just a tick below that, right? Where the demand is still good enough, but we're outside of where most of the competition is. So let's pick a random state. Let's go to Michigan. Now, if we're sorting sell-through rate by high to low, we have Allegan County, Newaygo County, Washtenaw County, right? And the sell-through rate's 194%, 181, 132, well above our threshold of 60%. But we just want to be a tick below these hottest counties because we want to be where everybody else is not. So let's pick Jackson County, Michigan. We're at 124% sell-through rate. There's 36 lots that have sold in the last year. This to me is good enough. Again, we don't have to be perfect. If we spend too much time looking for a perfect market, you could have the most homogeneous pricing and the hottest demand in the country, and it's the perfect market, the perfect pricing, the perfect ladder, and you could still not get deals. That's just the nature of the business. So what we do need is consistency. We need consistency in our marketing. We need markets that are good enough. So in this example, let's use Jackson County, Michigan. Now we're gonna head on over to Redfin. and we'll pull up Jackson County, Michigan. Now the first check, whether we decide if it's something we're gonna market to, is does the sell-through rate meet our criteria? Yes, right? We're over the 60% threshold. Now the second thing we're gonna look for is the pricing homogeneous? And I'm gonna show you exactly how I determine that, because if it's not, we'll just go to a different county or a different acreage band. So now we've gone into Redfin. Let's go to sold in the last year, home type, land, and our filters will do a minimum of 10 acres and a max of 20. So the first thing I'm looking for are my comps spread out evenly across the county? And in this example, it looks like they are. So if I saw a cluster of comps in maybe the northwest section or the southeast section, what we would do is we would section those off and price them separately. But because the comps are spread out evenly, that would tell me that I can hopefully take one price and apply it to the entire county for this marketing campaign. So now that we've determined the comps are spread out evenly, let's go ahead and sort this low to high, and we're gonna scroll to the bottom, we're gonna download the data. So let's download this data. Now I'm gonna delete everything on my list except for the address, the price, and the lot size. So everything else I'm gonna get rid of. I don't need it. So I'll go ahead and delete it. So I'm left with my address, my price, and my lot size. But right now my lot size is in square footage. We need to put this into acreage because that's how we look at land. We look at an acre. So let's go acres. Now the formula, we're gonna take our lot size, we're gonna divide it by 43,560 because there's 43,560 square feet per acre. We'll do enter. We can drag it down or double click. Now we're gonna copy and we're gonna put it under our acre category here. Now we have our address, our price, I'll put in a $sign, and our acres. Now the last thing that we need is a price per acre. When we're looking at rural rec land, we like to look at it in a price per acre, not just a base price. So equals price divided by acre, and we'll drag it down. Now let's sort our price per acre low to high and just kind of get a general idea as to what this county looks like. And this is Jackson County, Michigan. I just pulled it on the first time here on the spot. Now our price per acre is as low as 3,200 and as high as 24,000. So right off the bat, it'd be really difficult to take some price and market to the entire county. Right? What price could we pick? It's really difficult to know when we're as high as 24,000 and as low as 32,000. So what we need to do is remove the outliers, then determine is it homogeneous enough for us to give a flat price per acre and market to the entire county. And here's exactly how we do that. So the two metrics I like to look at are an average and a standard deviation. Now, I don't want to get too technical as to what a standard deviation is. It's a statistics term that determines the variability of the data set. Right? So the more variability, the more the price per acre fluctuates. Now, what we want is very little fluctuation. That way we can apply one price and it's well priced for the entire county. If there's a lot of variability in our pricing, it's very difficult for us to give one base price per acre and market to the entire county. So the smaller the standard deviation, the less variability within our data, the more accurate our pricing can be. So let's take our average. Now the formula is equals average, and we'll highlight all the price per acre. And standard deviation is equals STDEV, and we'll highlight all of our price per acre again. Now, our metric that we like to use in our business is I want my standard deviation to be less than 25% of my average. Right now we're at 49%. So before we've removed any outliers, this is not homogeneous enough for me to apply a price, right? Because let's say our average is at 10,000 and we were gonna mail it at half. Let's call it 5,000 bucks price per acre. Well, that's obviously way too high of a price for this section of the county. And it's way too low of a price for this section. Right, so we need to get a little bit more accurate as to how we're going to apply a price to this county. So we want to be under 25%. So let's start removing some outliers and see if we can get to that threshold of under 25%. So let's start on the low side. We have this thing at 3,200 bucks an acre. This is on Maple Drive. Let's head back over to Redfin. We're going to sort low to high. Looks like one of them is an off-market listing, so we can delete that. We don't look at off-market listings. Now the next one at 3,500 bucks price per acre is at 71,000. Which is this lot here. Now this looks like a kind of a standard lot. It has standard road frontage, not a ton of topography. Road frontage isn't great, but it's not terrible. It's like a hunting lot. I don't see any reason why this would sell significantly less. I don't see anything about wetlands or floodplains, so I'm gonna leave that for now. Let's jump to the high side. We have these things at 24,000 price per acre. It's a duplicate, so let's take a look. We'll go high to low and see if we can remove this for any reason. At 242,000, it's got a barn on it. It's here, so we can remove these. It's a duplicate. Now the next one is at 249,000. Let's determine what's going on with this one. It's a commercially zoned property. Now we typically don't go after commercially zoned lots. We go after residential. So we can remove that as an outlier. That's a duplicate, so we can remove both. And the next one is at 240. Now this looks like a standard lot here as I scroll through the photos. Let's see what it says about it. The property is perfect for a building site, great place to hunt or enjoy. Don't miss this opportunity. Really doesn't give me any reason as to why it would be selling for so much. I'm probably gonna leave it. So that's where I would kind of stop and remove my outliers. Now let's go back and see, is our standard deviation less than 25% of our average? If it is, then we can apply a price and market to it. If it's not, we either go to a different acreage band or we go to a different county. Well, let's scroll back up. So we're at 33%, so we're close, but not close enough. Again, we can't take one price and apply it to this entire county and feel confident that our pricing is accurate for everybody in the county. We want this number to be under 25% for us to be able to apply one price to the entire county and send letters to them. So in this example here, we would either go to the next acreage band of 20 to 40 acres, or we move to a different county and stay in the same acreage band 10 to 20, do the exact same thing that we just did here, and determine, is the next one homogeneous enough to mail to? If so, great, let's send our marketing there. That right there is exactly what we do in our business. It's not rocket science. It's a pretty simple process. It might seem very technical with the Excel. It's a couple formulas. You could watch the video one time over and get pretty good at it. So you can copy this exactly in your land businesses if you want. Again, this is exactly how we pull counties in ours. As you get better and better at it, it'll probably take you a couple minutes per county to determine whether it's good or not. If it is, great, apply a price, and we'll go over that in a different video, but apply a price and send your marketing campaign off. So it doesn't have to be overly complex. Again, there's no such thing as a perfect market. We just want to get good enough. As long as we're consistent with our marketing, whether it's direct mail, cold calling, or texting, as long as you're consistent, your markets don't have to be perfect, your pricing doesn't have to be perfect, but you do have to be consistent. So I hope this video helped you out in some sense. If you're interested in learning more, you could head on over to landflippingsimplified.com. You can hop on a call with myself and we can talk through your problems in your business, see if we can help you out at all. Whether you're interested in starting a land flipping business or you need help with your already existing land flipping businesses, I'm happy to see how we can help. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.